How's it going, everybody? I just came across an interesting study, and I've seen these, well, it's a review, really, but it is a study. It is a peer-reviewed study in a peer-reviewed medical journal, the British Medical Journal, where basically they found that Coca-Cola has been attempting to, or they've been talking and attempting to negotiate with the CDC and the World Health Organization, basically trying to influence national guidelines more than they've already influenced them. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that Coca-Cola and the junk food industry and the sugar industry has been exposed multiple times. They've had to be transparent due to many laws that have passed over the years, and not to mention there's many, like, what they call whistleblowers. But it's been shown, it's been proven they have actually been manipulating national guidelines. They've actually been working together with government agencies to change the food recommendations. Okay, this whole calories in versus calories out, which I'm not saying is false, but this whole idea that you can drink Coca-Cola in moderation and still avoid chronic diseases and fight obesity and things. This is heavily influenced by the junk foods push to pretty much create government guidelines for nutrition and health themselves. And so it's extremely hard to put trust and put faith in the CDC and the World Health Organization when you have documents clearly showing that, hey, these big junk food corporations are negotiating with them to influence the national guidelines. And I'll link the one study I'm referencing down below that recently came out. But I mean, really, you all should just look that up yourselves. Look up the rest of the crap. I'm going to link the one down below. But essentially, I mean, this is well documented. They modify research, or at least they present the methodology in a way in which is favorable to the results they want to get from the studies. That's why, just reading the title or the abstract of a study is not enough. You must understand how to interpret methodology in science. You must understand statistics and relevance and context, especially in relations to nutritional science and health outcomes, because the same kind of science used for greenhouse gas emissions and stuff like that is not the same it's not the same relevance, matter of importance, the same, it doesn't work the same for health, okay? Anyway, it's extremely important for y'all to understand that, first of all, everybody is biased, okay? There's nothing that we can really do to remove ourselves from confirmation bias and from dogma and whatnot, okay? The vast majority of people who are into nutritional research, even if you are into science, right, and you present yourself in an objective manner, you could say you have a lot of people, they go by the science and nothing else matters to them. Hundreds and thousands of anecdotes are not important. So even you could definitely say, are biased. And really, how you interpret research is going to, it's going to change. There's one evidence-based nutritionist that's going to have a completely different idea of the science than another evidence-based nutritionist. So all I'm saying is that everybody is plagued by bias and dogma to some degree, okay? And there's really nothing you can do to change that. But just because somebody is biased or is dogmatic does not mean that their information is irrelevant, okay? Just because the World Health Organization and the CDC might be, negotiating with these large corporations and manipulating data and basing their entire recommendations on money and politics, it doesn't mean that their information is useless, okay? The problem is that people just want to believe in something. They don't want to actually think for themselves. That's really the biggest problem here. And, you must understand that you really can't just believe anybody. for face value, or as a credible. There's no such thing as a credible source of what to believe, okay, or even a credible source of information. What you need to know is not what to think. You need to learn how to think. That's more important. So interpreting these government guidelines and these any kind of advice you hear from any organization, no matter who it is, you must think critically about it, okay? And anybody who just thinks that they can blindly believe in some information just because it's based on science, or it's the government guidelines or anything like that, you need to think again. You need to really seriously reflect on that. You need to understand that even government, especially government, they're heavily influenced by money, by politics, okay? That's just the way the world works. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. Like eating cereal in the morning. The cereal companies are the biggest source of all this. But we know that the meat, egg, and dairy industry also influence. They fund their own research. The only difference is it's harder to find conflicts of interest in studies that are funded by pharmaceutical industries and that are funded by grain industries. A lot of them, they fund these studies in a way that allows them to not put conflicts of interest down at the bottom. Anyway, I just got done with a hardcore workout, and I'm resetting my sleep schedule. So, I hope that you guys understand what I'm trying to convey here. I know there's a lot of people that get triggered by this because they disagree, and they just want to immediately start talking negative, talking down, like literally ad hominem attacks, rather than actually discussing the points. And I don't know why they have to do that, man. Like, that's just ignorance, is all that is. Doesn't really provide any productivity, man. Like, if you disagree with me, I'd be more than happy to engage with you in some productive discussion. But I mean, the facts are facts. I'm gonna put the damn study down below, and I mean, it's been replicated multiple times. This is one of hundreds of proven evidence that directly shows these corporations influencing research and government recommendations. Really, the best thing you can do is look at, well, shit, what do I think of as healthy? Do I think being strong, energetic, happy, smart, and sharp and up into old age is healthy? If so, what are people doing, like, at that age? The people that are being successful in my version of health, what are they doing? How can I live a life more like theirs? How can I implement some of the principles that these strong, healthy people are implementing into my own life? I think that's much better than relying on this shady evidence, like shady population data and government organizations and things, because it is actually true. We see, the longest life expectancy. You can't just pin it on, meat causes this, meat is the reason, or plant-based is the reason. Hong Kong recently came out with the longest life expectancy and also the most meat per capita. And recently there was another country, I forgot what they were, who had the longest life expectancy, and they eat a whole lot of meat compared to a nation like, I'm not even going to say names because, people are going to misunderstand. But essentially, regardless, they have more health care, this and that. The point is, if meat was really that big of an issue, first of all, we would not have survived the Ice Age, thousands and thousands of years of human evolution where we were forced to eat meat, Second of all, people like Jack LaLanne, who lived well into his 90s and only died of pneumonia because he didn't go to the hospital, would have dropped dead because of all the damn animal protein he ate. The Okinawans, they fried all their damn vegetables in lard, or they used lard extensively for cooking. That's high in, pork fat. Not to mention they eat a lot of pork feet and etc. The only time that they didn't was during a 10 to 15 year period of famine because of the Okinawan War and other things. Anyway, leave your questions in the comments down below. Be a smart person.